So here you can see I brought in the 3D geometry. I've imported it from Windchill and brought it down into Creo Illustrate. And now I can just start interacting on the geometry. So since Creo Illustrate is a 3D technical illustration solution, we do need to start with the geometry. And as I click on the parts in this bill of material, they highlight in the visualization. And as I click on them in the visualization, they highlight in the bill of material. We can easily highlight parts, isolate parts, unhide parts, and filter down to just the geometry that's applicable to the illustration. As I click on a part, I can drag using the Copilot to position the part in any XYZ position, or even rotate the part. So as I select on them, I can very easily add explode lines. These explode lines are dynamic, so I can control the pathing of the explode line, the direction of the explode line, and even the full length of it. We also have rendering states. So these are predefined render states showing shaded with edges, white shaded states, HLR, and many others. Here I've moved on to annotations. They're very easy to create within Creo Illustrate. So there's preset callouts that you can leverage off of for your ability to create those. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close out this one, and I'm going to navigate over to another file that's been already built out a little bit with a little more information. So I'm going to open that file from Windchill, and upon opening that file, it's going to ask me, do I want to check out the data and modify it? So since we are connected to Windchill, we're going to check it out, take edit control of the file, and start working on the illustration. Takes a moment to load. Okay, so under my Figures tab, you can see that I have a variety of different types of figures set up in Creo Illustrate. So this is a unique application in which we can create many different types of illustrations in one single file, and then pick and choose how we want to publish those out at the end of the process. I also have the ability to look at a thumbnail view of those illustrations to give me a quick representation of what they might look like. Starting with the phantom parts illustration, changing the appearance of parts within Creo is very easy. Again, you simply just interact on the geometry. So as I highlighted that part, I have a dynamic tab that opens up at the top of the screen called Parts, and it highlights me to go in and change the colors of those parts. So changing the colors of the parts does not affect the engineering bill of material. It's only specific to my illustration. So we can quickly toggle in between different types of rendering modes. And here we applied a white shaded rendering mode to give us more of an illustration shading technique. And we're going to go ahead and select on some particular components in the bill of material and phantom some parts out. Once those parts are phantom, I can interact on underlying internal components. So this is important because it's now a background reference part and it is transparent for me to see through. So we'll go ahead and change the color of some of these assemblies and components within the internal area of the parking brake. And again, simply selecting on the geometry, clicking on the color functionality and changing the color. We leverage off of an RGB scale for color changes. So you can also set up custom colors to quickly change the colors of components based off of a standard. Looking into sectioning, we'll create a cross section. Cross sections in Illustrate are also pretty simple. We simply jump to the section tab, view the cross section, change a direction of it. We can drag and pull on the cross section to change the locations. And as I cut through the models, it's very dynamic. It's very fast to cut through that geometry. And we can display planar cuts, quarter cuts, and we can also choose which parts actually intersect with the cross section. In this case here, we are going to select on every part and maybe remove, we'll say, the shaft from the selected set for the cross section. So here we'll remove, and you can see that the shaft is excluded, and notice my phantom part is also excluded. And the quarter cut cuts through everything else. So once we are done with our illustration, we simply update our thumbnail so that it correctly publishes at the end of the process.